Welcome once again. This is week 4 of the Grand Series recap. I'm here with Dex and Alternix, and you can see Dex with that profile picture looks sexy as fuck. How are you guys? How was this week for you? How was this week number 4?
Well, week four was insane as we expected it to be. It's really good games overall. Every game had really serious implications in the league, so every team had to win.
Exactly. We had, two teams, undefeated teams, going at each other today, and obviously one of them lost over the undefeated status. It was Erodium against Ints. Ints lost against Erodium. What we were not expecting was, well, maybe some of you were, some others were not, to Erodium, for Erodium to lose also the undefeated status against Loki later on the stream, the games today. So now there is no undefeated team. Everyone has lost at least one, and that has serious implications. If you look at the way that the tournament is set up, we will select the top 6 teams. They will go to the playoffs, but then in the playoffs, those top 2 spots will not have to play on the first round, on the quarterfinals. They will advance straight to the semifinals. So now we don't know who those top two teams are, because we have 4 teams with only one defeat overall in the tournament, and anything can happen on this last. Well, almost anything. We're expecting something not to happen, but almost anything can happen,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's that's giving us a little bit more of a spice here on week 5, which is good, which is great, because we were very hype about week 4, but we were not exactly sure what to expect from week 5, and now we're hype again. Like, okay, this has serious implications. Week 5 can determine a lot. Um, Dex, we saw Erodium, doing good, okay, maybe against Ints, had ups and downs, but then against Loki, the downs were more than the ups. How do you feel about Erodium right now? Do you still think it's a top team in South America, or does that change your perception? Is it the way you see it?
Well, that's an interesting question, actually. Well, in the first game, in the first match of the day, Herodium versus Int, we saw basically what we all were expecting, a close series. Herodium won 3-2. Against Loki, they had many issues, and that caused the victory for them. Now, you asked me if I still think they're the top one of the region. Um, I think they're still the top team of the region, but I don't think there's too much skill gap anymore between them and the other top 4 teams.
Right. So in a good day, one of the top 4 can beat him, and that's a scary thing, because going forward on the playoffs, that's only one day. That's it. Playoffs are playing in one day. Anyone can have a bad matchup, and I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna mute it right now. You didn't listen to any. I mean, Alter and Dex didn't heard anything, but it's on the video. Anyway, on a bad day, Erodium then can lose a match, and that's it. They can go home. Um, not going to the land. They're gonna bank some money, but that's it. They might be left out of the RLCS. How about you, Alter? Do you think that's gonna happen? Do you feel like Erodium might be in a risky position now of not making it to the RLCS?
I mean, of course they are. They were from the start. They were in that position, because like league play standings, it's not the same as the regional playoffs. So you can't know. Actually, when the day of regional playoffs come, I still think they are top 2 in the region,
Mm-hmm.
but it's are improving fast, like really fast. They are improving really fast, and I'm hoping that maybe it's gonna be Loki and Rhodium going to RLCS, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ents takes one of those places, actually.
It's funny because you said top two. You didn't say top team. You said top two. So that means that in your eyes, low key might be the best team right now in South
I mean,
America.
I said it from way before. I think week one. I think Loki, it's a great team. I since they formed, I thought they were a great team. Right now they're showing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like first week they weren't that strong,
Yep.
and they just got better and better and better. Now they're showing it. They're showing it. Why I place that faith in them. I still think they are top two. I don't know about top one anymore. It's because it's really hard to know. It's really hard to know right now who is top one in the region. But top two for me, it's for sure Loki.
It's funny you mentioned that because you were this guy that you were saying like they were playing amazingly, they were doing really good, and everyone else was they're playing good, but I don't think they're playing that good as you were mentioning, and they're giving you the reason right now. This is the second time in the week they beat Erodium. They beat him in another tournament. Leaving behind Erodium from the LAN tournament. It is a LAN tournament they're going to be playing in Brazil. So right now it's Ints and Loki, the ones that that qualified for those spots in the LAN. So it's basically the same thing. It's very similar to what we're watching now in the Grand Series. It could happen to them. It could be Ints and Loki going to RLCS. Do I see that happening? Do I think it's gonna happen that way? I'm not sure. It's too soon to say. It's too soon to say. But Ints is playing well, but it's playing in a inconsistent way. They are not at the top the whole time, which is one thing we saw with La Química before. La Química had some really good moments, but as a whole, they were up and down against top teams, and they're still 5-1, I think it is, on the Grand Series. I think 4-1. So, and they might finish 6-1 also, but it's a tough situation for Ints. I don't know. It's a tough for Ints. It's a tough situation also for Erodium because they have been proven to not being unbeatable. And don't forget, we got Lotus there, and they look good today. I mean, they look weird at times, but I think they look good. They were finding each other a little bit more, and they were making shots. Sometimes you don't see them making any shots, and that's one thing I've been criticizing about them, that they had the opportunity and just missed open nets. Well, quasi open nets, not really open nets, but this time they were doing much better. I think. I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah, to me it's kind of weird that Reppy actually tweeted out earlier, I think, that he didn't feel like he played that well. He felt like he played his worst since he's been on this new team, and I wouldn't say that. I think he played really well. PJ is just right now he's the best player on the team. He's playing amazingly.
Mm-hmm.
But Matix, to me, it's still that factor that we just don't know about. It's weird because he's really good, but I think he's really good on offense, but on defense he's lacking a little bit.
One thing I saw is today they were not playing together as much. In previous weeks, we saw them playing together and they were passing each other, the ball and moving faster. I didn't see that. If PJ wasn't making the plays by himself, then they were not scoring that much. That's one thing that they're lacking against top competition, and it worries me a lot. If PJ doesn't have the best showing, then they're not gonna look that strong. And Matix, if he gotta be consistent, especially in defense. So, what do you think, Dex? Are we gonna have some surprises? Is this a team that you find interesting that might qualify? I mean, they make it to the other LAN. They are top two maybe in that tournament, in the other tournament, not the Grand Series. Can they also be top two here on the Grand Series?
I really think that Ints has many chances to get the second place on the Grand Series, at least for the league play. What really worries me was something of what you were talking before.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one of the problems with Ints is that they're not exactly consistent per se. So they have chances even to get to the RLCS, but I'm worried they would perform well there. And that's some experience that Erodium has. Loki is looking really strong right now, so I'm pretty sure Loki is gonna classify, but it's gonna qualify. But I'm not sure if that remaining place, that remaining spot will be between Erodium or Int. So there's still many play to see. So I really think Ints can do it, but I'm not sure they can perform that well if they do qualify.
It's kind of funny because I think all of us, all three of us, are putting Loki in there, in the plane to go to RLCS.
I
It's
mean,
it's the second position. It's the second one who we're doubting right now. We don't know who's going to RLCS, and you guys are not mentioning Lotus, but I think Lotus has a chance. The way they play today, and I think they're driven right now. Like they know that they are not top two anymore, in the eyes of the region. Like everyone else is looking over the shoulder, is looking at Lotus over the shoulder. So I think they know that, and that's pushing them to perform a little bit better.
to me, I said Loki was top two since the start
Yep.
of the season.
Yep.
So I, I I haven't changed my mind. I still haven't changed my mind since the start of the season. I think Loki and Rodium are going.
Mm-hmm.
Lotus, I think it's gonna be really hard. Everything's gonna come down to this last week. If they don't perform on this last week, I don't think they can fix those mistakes coming into the regional championships the next week.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be way too late for that. So this week five is gonna be everything for them. If they don't win at least one game, like I think they have a decent chance to win either against Ents or Erodium. But if they don't win any of those games, I'm not giving them much chances.
Okay, so that's going on week 5. Lotus will play against Erodium and against Ints, uh, and that's it. That's their last chance. And as you say, if they don't look good against any of those two teams, their chances are really slim to go to RLCS. And I agree with you. I agree with you. We only have 2 more weeks of Grand Series. It's gonna be the last week 5 of the league play, and then the regional playoffs, and that's it. There's only so much you can improve in 2 weeks. It's really hard to get even better because these guys have been putting thousands of hours, in the game, and 2 weeks is a very small fraction, to get better. So whatever they have right now, it's what they're one of the oldest teams in the region. So the chemistry that has been formed, it's like there right now. It's really hard to take that to the next level, and they really have to do well against Erodium and against Ints. Now, were we putting that much faith on Erodium in the beginning because they had the bracket was really good with them. They were playing the low level teams in the beginning, so that makes Math looks like a beast. Scoring a lot. But now that they are playing against better competition, they're not scoring that much. We look at the awards for the Golden Striker. Math is behind now Card. Card has a 1.52 goals per game, and Math is behind with 1.5. But remember that Math had a really good opening of the league play, and everything now is tough matches. I think I was talking to you guys behind scenes. I think you should give the award to Card right now. I don't think Card is gonna lag behind Math anymore. Math needs an extremely good match.
Yeah.
To pass him. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna happen.
I think that's kind of like you're not seeing the whole picture if you think that way. Because Matt had 2 games this week with a disconnection from his teammate Vault, so he couldn't play his best. Card like kind of took advantage of that and scored a lot of goals in one of the games. So I mean, of course, the statistics says that Card is scoring more goals, but Matt had like 2 really tough games. Not because his fault, He had 2 really tough games because of internet issues, electricity issues. We don't know, but
Right, but
I
next week.
wouldn't like Card. I think it's winning the award, but I don't think Matt it's necessarily a worse striker than Math just
Oh
because
no
of
no 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 no! I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Math is a worse striker than Card. But looking at the competition for next week, Loki
Yeah,
is
yeah,
going
yeah.
against G Factor, and G Factor has not been proven a good defender. They have not. They won one match today, and they were lucky. I gotta say they were lucky that Fantasy Death was not making the shots because Fantasy Death was hitting that pole over and over and over. It was either the pole or it was either uh, the I forgot the name, the travesaño,
The crossbar.
the crossbar. Thank you. So they were hitting the crossbar and the pole over and over and over and over and over. So they got really lucky that Fantasy Death was not scoring more. They are not good at defending. They're really not good at defending, and they are really bad at defending the back wall passes. And one thing that Loki likes is to do back wall passes. They pass with the wall. They can pass for other teammate or for themselves, and that's one thing that Card really enjoys to do. He wants to go for those. If you don't defend those, Card will make. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I think that's a good series. Gonna be 3-0, and Card will make at least 10 goals.
Ten's gonna be a lot, but maybe.
I think so. I think he's gonna make 10 goals by himself. He made 17. What 19 was in one series last week. I think he's going for 10 this time, and he's got. If he makes 10 goals, that's more than 3 per game. He's gonna keep that Golden Striker award. I think he had it. He has it in the pocket.
Yeah, I think that, well, you were mentioning before that at the beginning everybody had so much faith on Herodium.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is that we didn't actually have faith in Herodium because they had the stats on their side. And I think probably 3 months ago, maybe when we were still playing the grind series,
Mm-hmm.
we would say that Herodium had this really easily. They had it easy to get to the early series, whatever. But now we're seeing that that's not the case anymore. The teams have improved. They're all putting pressure on Herodium. So Herodium is not that big team that was miles away from all of them. And now, as just Alter said, Matt didn't have a good day today. He couldn't score as much as he could if Bald was playing. But the problem is that even if it's not his fault. There's nothing he can do because Loki has an easy game the next week.
Mm-hmm.
Really easy game, as Chamaco said, probably 10 goals from Card, and that's actually not a crazy idea because he can do it um, against G Factor, so it's very possible. So I think maybe it wasn't his fault, but Card got the stats on his side, he got the luck on his side, and because of what happened today, Matt is farther away than it was before from that Golden Striker prize.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Card is gonna get it.
I mean, Math can go crazy against a Lotus. He definitely can. He definitely can, and score a lot of against Lotus. It's not gonna be impossible. But the thing is, if I'm Card, I'm gonna talk to Renan and Thunder. I'm gonna say, hey guys, it's an easy matchup. I need you to give me the ball, okay? I need you to pass me the ball because I want those $1,000, okay? Do it for me. Do it for the team, okay? So we're gonna
Do
win.
it for me. Do it for the team.
Yeah, we're gonna win regardless, okay? We're gonna win regardless. I got a better chance than any of you guys. Card has a better chance than Tander and Renan to win the Golden Striker. It's $1,000. So, I mean, if Card is my teammate, I'm gonna, give him the ball. I'm gonna be blowing up whoever is trying to defend him. I'm gonna pass him the ball. I'm gonna make it anything possible for him to score more than Math, during that week. I'm gonna try to do it. Now, Erodium has to win. Erodium really has to win that match against Lotus. They have to play their best. So you can't just be trying to feed Math the ball. But Loki has that luxury. They can do it, So it's everything on their side, and I think if they play right, then Card will be the striker. I cannot talk about the other awards. We got the Savior, the Playmaker awards also. So I don't know, who's it isn't that easy so far to say who's gonna be the savior, who's gonna be the playmaker. But the other award we have is the MVP of the season, and that's a good prize too. And I think Card is right there, in the conversation.
Right now, for me, Card is top one.
You think he's the MVP? Yeah, he might be. I mean, he's playing
We have to
amazingly.
wait. Yeah, we have to wait for the last week because maybe something crazy happens in the last week. But for me, Card is just like I've never seen him play this well. Never.
I agree. I think the first weeks were the toughest ones for him. He lost against Ints on the first week. But after that, he's been looking great. I think he's been in the conversation every single time after the first week. Like, who's the MVP?
Yeah. Like,
Card is in there.
Yeah, I've seen like every other player. Sorry, every other player has been playing this well for a long while. Like Kaya, Math, Balt, maybe Thunder, Renan. Every player we've known has played this well for this well for a long time. But Card just like went another level up, and he's just insane. He's just insane on the pitch.
Yeah, I think maybe he's not gonna win it. He won the week 3 MVP. He was in the conversation for week 2. He didn't win it. It was Math. But even if he doesn't win week 4, he's in the conversation. And then week 5, it's just about how crazy he gets, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, because if imagine if Lotus wins both games, MVP has to be on that team.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have the talents. They have really good players. I'm still waiting on one to explode and give me some of those awesome weeks where he's extremely consistent, and you can't overlook him. I don't know what's It could happen. It could happen. So we talk about the upper half of the rankings right now, of the standings, but we have the bottom half where everyone is tied. Everyone has only one win as of now. We got Orchid with 1-4, Cryptic with 1-4, G Factor with 1-5, and Fantasy Death with 1-5. Now, I don't want to go into the details of possible ties and stuff like that. I just want you to give him the prediction of who's gonna be 5 and 6 and who's gonna be out of the playoffs. Dex, do you have do the honors, please? Go first.
This is a hard one, but I'd say Team Cryptic is gonna get the 5th place. Maybe Orchid the 6th. And G Factor and Fantasy Death will be out.
Alter.
I mean, I kind of ran the numbers already. Cryptic and Arcade had the easiest path to get to top 6. It's like really hard for G Factor because they only have one game and they're playing maybe the best in the league. They're playing against Loki, so that's gonna be really hard because if they lose 3-0, they're out. They don't have any chance.
Right, it's really tough on G Factor. They're playing against the top team right now, probably the top team. They have to win one. I mean, they have not been winning many games. G Factor is 4-15 on the whole matches. So they haven't been winning that many matches, and the games they won, I think they were not against top tier competition. They won one against Orchid.
And that's it. And 3-0 against Fantasy Death.
And that's it. That's exactly it. So they haven't had the best trajectory right now. Cryptic, on the other hand, play decent today. They played decent. They were not playing amazingly, but they did what they needed to do to win. Given they were playing against G Factor, but it looked. It's the same thing, it's my problem with them. They had a really strong beginning, and then they calmed down a little bit too much. Like they came in and they scored 4 goals on the first match, and then it's like, yeah, we're not gonna score that much more. I don't know what's going on with them, but anyway, yeah, I go with you guys. I don't know who's gonna be 5 and 6. I don't know if Cryptic is gonna be 5 and Orchid 6, but it doesn't matter. I'm hoping they pass. I think that's my prediction. And G Factor and Fantasy Death, they're gonna be the bottom 2, and that's basically what we saw. What we were expecting when we came here on the after the play-ins. I think that's what we had in mind from the beginning. G Factor and Fantasy Death were the weakest links, and Orchid and Team Critic, they were not gonna be top four, but they were probably gonna advance to the playoffs.
Yep.
So, but there's possibility that things don't go that way, and we have a really good upset. It's not just about going to playoffs; it's about getting more money after because all these teams are getting are getting some money, are getting a prize, and depending on how they do on the league, how they stand out, then it's gonna be the payout. So everyone wants a better payout, and everyone want to do their best on week 5. So just small recap: we got Loki against G Factor next week. We got then Ints against Cryptic, Orchid against Fantasy Death.
That's a good game.
It's an interesting game. Yeah, many things can go wrong on that one. We were talking about how Cryptic can not be on top 6, and it might be if Fantasy Death beats Orchid and then Orchid beats Cryptic, then bye bye Cryptic. That's so it's something to follow right there.
Basically, Cryptic can lose both games, but they have to wait for Fantasy Death, because if Fantasy Death ties them on game differential, or if they win that game and Cryptic doesn't win, they're out.
Yep.
So that game's gonna have huge implications for all of the teams.
And then the 4th matchup will be Ints and Lotus. 5th will be Orchid and Cryptic, and then the last one, and one of the most important for that top 2 position, Erodium against Lotus. So we are gonna have a really good ending of the league series, and then after that we're going straight to the regional playoffs. Can't get any better than this, honestly. Can't get any better than this. We know who's the top 4. That's fine. It's all good and dandy. Who's gonna be top 2, who's gonna be advancing, getting a bye on those quarterfinals. That's interesting. And then who's gonna be top 5 and top 6, 5 and 6, who's gonna pass to the playoffs. Again, really interesting. And you know what? I don't know, man. If things go that way, a bad day, Cryptic and I'm sorry, and my God, Orchid. If they advance to the playoffs, they can do some damage over there. They can do some damage. I don't expect them to win the whole thing, but they can do some damage.
I think it's for sure that one of those teams will make it. Maybe both won't, but I think it's sure that one of them will, and that's a really good team on the playoffs. Either Orchid or Cryptic are a really good team. So any of those that manages to get through, or even if both manage to get through, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be good games.
Okay, let's wrap it up before leaving. Okay, so let's do our predictions. Who's gonna be 1 and 2? That's it. Who's gonna be 1 and 2?
Wait,
Alter.
1 and 2?
Yeah, who's gonna be on the standings at the end? Who's gonna be team number 1 and team number 2?
I mean, number 1's gonna be Loki. That's
okay.
easy.
Okay.
Number 1's gonna be Loki. That's almost certain. I think. I don't know. Number 2, I'm giving it to. I'm gonna give it to Rodium.
So, yeah, it's really tough. It's gonna be really tough for Erodium to be number 1, because Loki is not gonna lose anything, right? It's really hard for them to lose one more match against G Factor, and even if Erodium is perfect,
Yeah, like they have to
to
for
beat.
them to get they have to beat Lotus better than what Loki does against G Factor.
Yeah, and that's all
So-
because they lost. That's because Loki was able to beat Erodium today. So yeah, it's gonna be really tough on Loki to not be number 1. Ints might be able to do better, but they also have to win everything. They can't lose a match. So that's
Yeah,
gonna be
if they
really
win-
tough. It's gonna be really
If
tough.
they win 6-0, which is highly unlikely, but if they go 6-0, they're number 1.
Yeah, they're number 1. So I'm gonna say Loki is number 1, and I'm gonna say I think I want a an upset. I'm gonna say Lotus number two, just
That's
because,
gonna
just for fun, just for fun.
That's gonna be
Lotus
crazy.
Lotus will have to win against Ints and against Erodium, both, against both. But I want to see the old Lotus back. What about you, Dex? What's up? Who's
Well,
gonna be number
I'm
one?
gonna complete here the magic trio. I don't know, but I think just like you, I think Loki is gonna be number one. There's no discussion about it because they already fought the hardest battles they had on this league, so they had it really easy. Right now, they can just beat G Factor and get number one. But I think Inns can do it to second place.
Ooh, okay.
I really think they can.
They can do second place. Yeah. So let's see, guys. I mean, you can say whatever you want, guys. You just go to Wikipedia, watch the standings, see how everything is flowing. We were supposed to discuss a little bit of how, if we have any ties, how are they gonna be arranged. Alter, you know a little bit more than me on that subject. So
Well,
if
yeah,
mhm.
I've done the ties for the bottom four teams. The top four teams, it doesn't really matter that much. Maybe for top two, but top two is like really out of reach for some teams. So I think the interesting thing is for the bottom four, and it gets crazy. It basically gets crazy. So let's go from top to bottom. First one's gonna be Cryptic, I think, or Orchid. Orchid, yeah.
I was my bad. I was asking a little bit more on the way of if we have any ties. Um, what are the rules saying?
Yeah, yeah,
What are the
yeah.
rules saying
So
about it?
basically, it goes first to game differentials. It's just basically the games you won against the games you lost, and you just make a simple.
Ratio.
Yeah, it's a simple ratio there.
Mhm.
If that's tied with another team, then you go to head to head. So the team that won the games between
The series between the two of them.
yeah, but this race between the two of them, it's gonna determine who's gonna be on top. If three teams are tied in all of those things, that's where it gets crazy. Like you have to go maybe to goal differential. I don't remember what the rules say, but there's like other like three criteria to untie the teams, and it just gets crazy. You don't want to go there. So I don't think it's gonna happen that three teams are gonna be tied at the same record and at the same game differential. But if it happens, it's gonna be insane.
Right now, man, if Erodium wins everything and Int wins everything, then we might have it. But it's highly unlikely because they're having such a top competition on that last week. So, but the crazy thing, if Lotus wins everything 3-0, 3-0, they are first place.
Wait, who?
Lotus.
Lotus.
Yeah,
If they win 3-0, 3-0, they're first place. That's crazy.
But it's
I mean-
very unlikely in my opinion.
Yeah, highly unlikely, but they're gonna be they're gonna be yeah, they're gonna have only 5 losses. That's it. And Loki is gonna have 6. So yeah, crazy stuff.
that's gonna be insane. If it happens, it's insane.
Anyway, that's it, guys. That's it. We're gonna wrap it up here. If you guys want to go to Wikipedia and do the math yourself and enjoy it a little bit, trying to figure out those crazy ties if they happen, what things can go wrong and what things can give us a good headache in a good way, a headache in a good way. So, but in the meantime, watch out for rocketstreet.gg. That's Alter will most likely post a recap of what's happened and what's coming up on the next seasons, on the next weeks. I'm sorry, and just watch it out. He will write it up in English, Spanish, and Portuguese probably, so you can. That's right. We have been doing it that way. You've been writing in the 3 languages. Well, you've been writing in whatever language, and then we get it translated. So yeah, check it out, and that's it for now. We have 2 more weeks of the Grand Series, and then we're gonna have our top 2 teams to represent South America in the RLCS. So check it out, guys. Don't let it go to waste. We shall do this same thing next week. But next week, watch the games. Watch the games. You can go Rocket Street Live on Twitch. You can go twitch.tv/Rocket Street BR to watch it in Portuguese. And you can watch it on English on twitch.tv Rocket League Central. So I'm Chamaco, Alter, and Dex. We're here. We are the casters for Rocket Street, and we'll see you later. Thank you for being here, and hope you enjoy the Grand Series. Bye.